in the kingdom of heaven. We know that, but most of the world don't know it. You're going to be able to walk through and see the beast and the false prophet frying, period, in the kingdom of heaven. Those are the ones least. Don't join those in the kingdom of heaven. Go ahead.
Verse 20. For I say unto you, that except your righteousness shall exceed the righteousness of the scribes and Pharisees, ye shall in no case enter into the kingdom of heaven.
You know the scribes and the Pharisees put a hard burden on people. He said, look, man, your righteousness got to exceed that. Exceed it. This ain't no play game. You got to bring the pain. Well, I mean not bring the pain. You got to make sure that you know what you're doing on this day. It's a blessing to understand what to do instead of just going through your house, walking around talking, looking at social media, looking at TV, doing all this stuff, and you are polluting it. Polluting it. People got to understand that. Let's go to Luke chapter 4. Let's see that Jesus honored his Sabbath day. They say they're Christian, right? It's in your mind. He's judging their mind, y'all. He's judging everyone our mind. And we think that, okay, yeah, we got it. Better get into this book. Do it correctly. Luke chapter 4. We're going to start with verse 14. Let's see if Jesus keeps the Sabbath. So we got to make sure all the prophets kept the Sabbath. All the apostles, disciples kept the Sabbath. Everybody kept it. Verse 14, go ahead.
And Jesus returned in the power of the Spirit into Galilee.
Yes, sir.
And there went out a fame of him through all the region round about.
So he returned to Galilee. Go ahead.
And he taught in their synagogues, being glorified of all. And he came to Nazareth, where he had been brought up. And as his custom was, he went into the synagogue on the Sabbath day and stood up for to read.
He went into synagogue on the Sunday.
On the Sabbath day.
To do what? To stand up to read. This is what I'm doing. This is what you're doing. You're coming in the synagogue, which is the church, and you honoring God's Sabbath the right way. Period. But these people taking this halfway. They ain't taking this wholehearted. They just doing it halfway. This is what Jesus is doing now. You're a Christian. Follow Christ. You should be following him. Let's see what Paul did. Let's go to Acts chapter 18. You know they love Paul. Paul did his thing. Now Paul followed the law. Paul followed the law. All these prophets, apostles followed the law. And we just zero in on the Sabbath. Acts 18. I want to start with verse 1. Let's see if Paul keep the Sabbath after Jesus' death. Go ahead.
After these things, Paul departed from Athens and came to Corinth.
Yes, sir.
And found a certain Jew named Aquila, born in Pontus, lately come from Italy with his wife Priscilla.
Yes, sir.
Because that Claudius had commanded all Jews to depart from Rome and came unto them.
Go ahead.
And because he was of the same craft, he abode with them and wrought. For by their occupation they were tent makers. And he reasoned in the synagogue every Sabbath, and persuaded the Jews and the Greeks.
He reasoned in the synagogue what?
Every Sabbath.
Every Sabbath. That's why we come to church every Sabbath. It's no like, oh, I don't want to be here. No, God judges every time you miss. And what did you choose over him? This is what he tells me. This is what Paul did. This is what Jesus did. It's no days off. Period. Only way you in the doctor's office, when you can't move, in the hospital when you can't move. And you still got to keep it in there. We finished with that?
Yes, sir.
Let's go to Matthew chapter 28. This thing is very important. I ain't going to sugarcoat it for y'all. And most of all, I ain't sugarcoat it for myself because I get tired sometimes. Now this for the Christians, the Sunday churches who think Jesus was resurrected up on Sunday. This is why we keep it. No, you're going to find out that Jesus was resurrected up on the Sabbath. And you still got to keep it. Matthew chapter 28, we're going to start with verse 1. We learn how to keep it. Go ahead.
In the end of the Sabbath, as it began to dawn toward the first day of the week.
Understand this. He said at the end of the Sabbath. This is what Mary And Mary Magdalene came to do. The Sabbath was already ended. Go ahead.
In the end of the Sabbath, as it began to dawn toward the first day of the week, came Mary Magdalene and the other Mary to see the sepulchre.
The sepulchre is the spot that Jesus was buried. They came to his gravesite. They even kept the Sabbath. They came at the end of it. That's his mother and that other Mary. Go ahead.
And behold, there was a great earthquake, for the angel of the Lord descended from heaven,
Yes, sir.
and came and rolled back the stone from the door and sat upon it.
What does angel look like? Go ahead.
His countenance was like lightning, and his raiment white as snow.
Yes, sir. That's when his face was like lightning. You know how lightning look? Real loud, flashy. And also his raiment was white as snow. Go ahead. That was a great sight to see, but go ahead.
Verse 4, and for fear of him, the keepers did shake, and became as dead men.
Wow, I fell on the ground if I see something like that. I don't want to see nothing like that. Go ahead.
And the angel answered and said unto the woman, Fear not ye, for I know that ye seek Jesus, which was crucified.
Go ahead.
He is not here, for he is risen, as he said. Come, see the place where the Lord lay.
Wait a minute now. When did Mary Magdalene come to the
End
supper?
of the Sabbath.
What did the angel say?
He is not here.
He's risen. So when did he rise? Was it Sunday?
No, sir.
It was the Sabbath. Let me show you. Let me show you what that sign is before we go to Daniel about how long Christ is supposed to be dead. Same book, Matthew chapter 12, verse 38. They always talking about Jesus. Reason why we keep Sunday because Jesus was resurrected up on the Sunday. You're a liar and the truth ain't in you. You don't know jack if you telling people that. Matthew chapter 12, we will start with verse 38. Let's see how many days Jesus was dead in the earth. Go ahead.
Then certain of the scribes and of the Pharisees answered,
Yes, sir.
saying, Master, we would see a sign from thee.
They always looking for a sign. Go ahead.
But he answered and said unto them, An evil and adulterous generation seeketh after a sign, and there shall no sign be given to it, but the sign of the prophet Jonas.
He said, I'm going to give you one sign because I don't like dealing with these signs. This is the sign he gave him. Go ahead.
For as Jonas was 3 days and 3 nights in the whale's belly, so shall the Son of Man be 3 days and 3 nights in the heart of the earth.
Wait a minute, my math is off. Because they told me Jesus died on Good Friday and was resurrected up on early Sunday morning. You count it. Friday evening, Saturday, early Sunday morning. That ain't but a day and a half. Day and 2 nights maybe. They lying. Let me show you also what day did Jesus die on. Let's go to Daniel chapter 9. Oh, Jesus, reason why we keep Sunday because Jesus resurrected up. No, you keep Sunday because Constantine that taught your pastor to get there on the Sunday. Daniel chapter 9. Ain't but a few books back. Man, we got to know what we doing. Y'all ain't here just because Jeff said to y'all. I want y'all to be able to explain this stuff to people when they ask you.
Come on, bro.
Instead of saying, oh, my pastor said, no, don't call me. Go to your notes. Go to your notes. That's why we take notes in here.
That's right. Amen.
Because there's a lot of scriptures.
That's right.
Let's see what day did Jesus die on. Let's go to Daniel chapter 9. Start with verse 26. Because they told us Good Friday was when Jesus died. Verse 26, go ahead.
And after 62 weeks shall Messiah be cut off. But not,
when he said Messiah be cut off, that's when he's going to die. Go ahead.
but not for himself.
Because Jesus didn't die for himself. Who he died for? Us.
That's right. Amen.
Go ahead.
And the people of the prince that shall come shall destroy the city and the sanctuary.
Yes, sir.
And the end thereof shall be with the flood. And until the end of the war, desolations are determined.
That happened in 70 AD. Go ahead.
And he shall confirm the covenant with many for 1 week.
Now we got a time period. He said, I'm going to confirm the covenant for many for 1 week. What happened within that week? Go ahead.
And in the midst of the week, he shall cause the sacrifice and the oblation to cease.
Yes, sir.
And for the overspreading of abominations, she shall make it desolate.
So in the midst of the week, what is the midst? The middle.
That's right.
Wednesday. So he couldn't die almost at the end, which is Friday, because 3 whole days, 3 whole nights do not equal up to that. from Friday. So he had got Wednesday, Thursday, Friday, Saturday. And at the end of that Sabbath, he was gone. So if you want to keep the resurrection day, you should be keeping the Sabbath day. Facts. This is what people don't understand. They can't go to the book and tell you this. Because mainly they don't believe in the Old Testament. They say, well, we New Testament church. And believe me, if you don't understand that in Jonas, or about Jonah, how you going to understand the Old Testament? How you going to understand the 3 whole days and 3 whole nights? Because Jonah in the Old Testament, he got to be cut off. 27 again.
And he shall confirm the covenant with many for 1 week.
1 week.
And in the midst of the week, he shall cause the sacrifice and the oblation to cease.
Because the veil of the temple was ripped from top to bottom. Meaning that the veil was torn down. You had to take blood, sacrifice it to a priest no more, so he can sprinkle it on the altar for your sin. Now you can go boldly to Christ yourself.
Come on,
in Jesus' name.
In Jesus' name.
Period.
Yes, sir.
So much for Good Friday.
Glory.
So much for Sunday worship. That killed all of that about the Sabbath. Let's finish that. Huh? Yeah, go ahead.
And the oblation to cease, and for the overspreading of abominations he shall make it desolate, even until the consummation, and that determined shall be poured upon the desolate.
All this talking about the 70 weeks of Daniel, from the beginning all the way to the end, he told it all about how he was going to start, the veil of the temple tearing it down, even in 7 AD, then all the way down in our day, and the sacrifice of all this stuff he told in Daniel chapter 9, excuse me. But we ain't getting into all. We still dealing with the Sabbath. Let's go to Exodus chapter 20. Let's see what else God do not want us to do on this Sabbath day. It's strange how people say they know this stuff, but then you look at their lifestyle and they say, I know this, but why you still on social media? Why you talking the way you talk then? Why you trying to exact your pleasure? Why you doing all this stuff? I'm talking about me too now. Because I'll be sitting up there watching stuff on social media and all of a sudden a video come up, boom, I'm watching, oh, wait a minute. I don't supposed to be watching this. I ain't leaving myself out. I got to work. It's every day. This is a refresher course. Exodus chapter 20, we're going to start with verse 8. Let's see what else. How we keep the Sabbath. Oh, God, looking for that sign. Exodus 20, verse 8. When you get it, go ahead.
Remember the Sabbath day to keep it holy.
Has they remembered today? No. Check Sunday. They're going to be all in them empty churches trying to give a message. On the Sunday. They even be showing the building sometimes. They sitting there still trying to keep the Sabbath when they told people not to even come to church. They're still keeping the Sabbath. These pastors still trying to preach on the Sunday. Go ahead.
Verse 9. 6 days shalt thou labor and do all thy work.
Yes, sir.
But the 7th day is the Sabbath of the Lord thy God. In it thou shalt not do any work. Thou, nor thy son, nor thy daughter, thy manservant, nor thy maidservant, nor thy cattle, nor thy stranger that is within thy gates.
God even went down to the animals. The animals don't supposed to be working. You don't work your animal on that day? That was the people back then when they had animals in the field to farm and all that stuff. Go ahead.
Verse 11. For in 6 days the Lord made heaven and earth, the sea, and all that in them is, and rested the 7th day. Wherefore the Lord blessed the Sabbath day and hallowed it.
And you gonna tell me I'm in the coat because I keep the Sabbath? All this we hear about the blessing on the Sabbath? You a liar, dog. I mean, yeah, dog. You a liar. These folks are lying to us big time. So we got to make sure we understand this. Let's go to Luke. We finished with that? Yeah, Numbers. Excuse me, thank you. Let's go to Numbers chapter 15. Let's see what God told Moses to do if he broke this Sabbath. One book back. Now this is what they did back then. Huh? Numbers chapter 15, we're going to start verse 32. Still talking about this work. Numbers 15, verse 32. And get it, brother, go ahead.
And while the children of Israel were in the wilderness, they found a man that gathered sticks upon the Sabbath day.
So we got this man out here working, gathering sticks on the Sabbath day. Go ahead.
And they that found him gathering sticks brought him unto Moses and Aaron, and unto all the congregation.
Because they knew they wasn't supposed to be doing any work. So this man gonna take it upon himself, go gather some sticks. Whatever he want to do with it, I don't know. Go ahead.
34. And they put him in war, because it was not declared what should be done to him.
So they locked him up. That's what a war is. Locked him up in jail. They had to go to Moses and see what to do to him. Go ahead.
35. And the Lord said unto Moses.
Now Moses said unto the Lord.
The Lord said unto Moses.
The Lord told Moses this. What he told him?
The man shall be surely put to death. All the congregation shall stone him with stones without the count.
So this is how they executed a person who broke the Sabbath. They took a stone and they hit you in the head until you died. This is how it happening. And God ain't changed. He ain't changed. He doing the vengeance himself now. He took it out our hand, which is the priest, because we were so dirty and treat people wrong. Now he said, look, I'm going to do it. That's why a lot of people you see get shot up in these streets. Israel, Breonna Taylor, George Floyd, all these people. You find out, did they keep the Sabbath? You'll find out, no, they didn't keep it. And you'll know their time ran out. God did this. God said, I kill. I'll make alive. I'll do all these things. Can't nobody do nothing. Can't nobody get killed if God don't want them to get killed. Come on now. Just throw that in. Let's go to Luke chapter 13. I have one more. Go ahead, brother.
36. And all the congregation brought him without the count and stoned him with stones. And he died, as the Lord commanded Moses.
The Lord commanded. He made people die. Let's go to Luke chapter 13. Now I'm going to give you a little wiggle room right here in the scriptures about the Sabbath. Because it ain't like, now if it's a need for you to do something, a need. That's what people got to understand. It's lawful to do good on the Sabbath day, but for Israel, we know to prepare. But certain things you can't prepare for. If you come to the Sabbath class and your car break down, you have a flat tire, you got to get out there and change it. That's a need you're trying to get here. But just going to the mall shopping, going to your job to clock in, hey, that's between you and the Lord. I don't know what your need is. Luke chapter 13, we're going to start with verse 11. Let's look at this example about how people see us as Israel when we're trying to do good. They think we're working. No, sometimes you got to understand what this brother's doing on the Sabbath day. It ain't work. Just as the Pharisees were looking at Jesus. Luke 13 and verse 11. Go ahead.
And behold, there was a woman which had a spirit of infirmity 18 years, and was bowed together, and could in no wise lift up herself.
So she had a spirit of her who was bound in her for 18 years. That's a long time for you to be crippled. You know what I'm saying? Go ahead.
Verse 12. And when Jesus saw her, he called her to him and said unto her, Woman, thou art loose from thine infirmity.
So this was TDJ get it from. Woman, thou art loose. He don't even understand. I ain't gonna say he don't understand, but he I think he do. He just not, he don't understand about the Sabbath. Go ahead.
13. And he laid his hands on her, and immediately she was made straight and glorified God.
Jesus healed her. Healed her on the Sabbath day. Go ahead.
And the ruler of the synagogue answered with indignation, because that Jesus had healed on the Sabbath day, and said unto the people, There are 6 days in which men ought to work. In them therefore come and be healed, and not on the Sabbath day.
He said, wait a minute, Jesus, you should have healed her other than 6 days. Why you don't heal her on the Sabbath? No, listen what Jesus said. Go ahead.
15. The Lord then answered him and said, Thou hypocrite.
He called him a hypocrite. Go ahead.
Does not each one of you on the Sabbath day loose his ox or his ass from the stall and lead him away to watering?
He said, don't you loose your ox, your animal, go take him to get some water? You working now. But it's a need. Your animal need water. Just like we need water. Go ahead.
16. And ought not this woman, being a daughter of Abraham, whom Satan hath bound, lo, these 18 years, be loosed from this bond on the Sabbath day?
He tell him, look, man, he did a comparison. Don't you lead your horse in the water to get loose from thirst? This one been bound 18 years, crippled from that. And he loosed on that day. And you gonna criticize me for that? Come on, go ahead.
17. And when he had said these things, all his adversaries were ashamed.
I bet they was ashamed. They couldn't answer that. Go ahead.
And all the people rejoiced for all the glorious things that were done by him.
Yes, sir, because it's lawful to do good on the Sabbath.
Yes, sir.
It's a need. Let's go to Mark chapter 2. Let's look at another example. When I first started Sabbath, I was like them Pharisees. You don't do nothing on that day. I don't care what it is here. Because I didn't understand it. Somebody needs some help. No, man, I can't do that on Saturday, Mark chapter 2. We're going to look at verse 23. Actually, my family told me about it. It's lawful to do good on the Sabbath day. And I didn't know it in detail. So I started researching. I think they use it as they can do whatever they want to do. Whatever they feel like. No, it's a need. It got to be a need. I don't know if you need to go to work. That's up to you and the Lord. Mark chapter 2, verse 23. Let's look at another example. Go ahead.
And it came to pass that he went through the cornfields on the Sabbath day. And his disciples began as they went to pluck the ears of corn.
So Jesus and the disciples got hungry. They went to go pluck some ears of corn to eat. Go ahead.
And the Pharisees said unto him, Behold, why do they on the Sabbath day that which is not lawful?
They looking at him, why you doing that on the Sabbath day? That ain't lawful for you to be picking corn, working. When you don't understand what is a need, it'll look like work. It'll look like work. No, somebody hungry. You got to feed them. Go ahead.
25. And he said unto them, Have you never read what David did when he had need and was in hunger, he and they that were with him?
Notice he said he had need. Go ahead.
How he went into the house of God in the days of Abiathar the high priest.
Yes, sir.
And did eat the showbread, which is not lawful to eat but for the priest. And gave also to them which were with him.
So it wasn't lawful for the man to go in there and eat that bread for the priest. But it was a need for them to eat. Go ahead, because they were hungry. Go ahead.
27. And he said unto them, The Sabbath was made for man, and not man for the Sabbath.
Because the Sabbath was made for man to rest.
Amen.
It wasn't made for man to work. Because they're going to take this scripture right here and say, this is why we can do whatever we want to do on the Sabbath. Because the Sabbath was not made, what he said, the Sabbath was not made for man. No, you don't even understand that. The Sabbath was made for you to rest, relax, get away from all this hustle and bustle in the world. Go ahead.
28. Therefore the Son of Man is Lord also of the Sabbath.
So when Jesus looked down there, when you doing your thing on the Sabbath, he knows when it's a need, and he knows when you're doing your own pleasure. Understand that. We finished with that? Let's go to Nehemiah. Nehemiah chapter 13. I'm going to show you a great evil that most of the world don't know about on the Sabbath, and they do it on the Sabbath. Nehemiah 13. Don't hit that book very often, or go to your table of contents. Yes, sir. Show you a great evil on this Sabbath. Preacher having a hard time to find Nehemiah. Nehemiah 13. Let's look at another example. What God means when he says, man wasn't made for the Sabbath. It wasn't made for you to do your pleasures on the Sabbath. That's all he's telling you. He made for you to work. He ain't made for you to do nothing like that. He made for you to read. You got 6 days, man. 6 days. And the reason why people end up doing stuff because they do not prepare. The Sabbath is far away from their mind as possible. When I'm thinking about the Sabbath day, I'm preparing all week long. What I'm going to do. Because on that day, I want to make sure I'm clean. Numbers chapter 13, we'll start at verse 14. Go ahead, brother.
Remember me, O my God, concerning this, and wipe not out my good deeds that I have done for the house of my God, and for the offices thereof.
This is what I'm saying to God. What Nehemiah said right here. He said, remember me. I want God to remember I got these people here on the Sabbath day, and I taught them for my salvation. Go ahead.
In those days saw I in Judah some treading wine presses on the Sabbath,
So they going out trading, buying and selling on the Sabbath. Go ahead.
and bringing in sheaves and laden asses, as also wine, grapes, and figs,
Yes, sir.
and all manner of burdens, which they brought into Jerusalem on the Sabbath day.
What did they do?
And I testified against them in the day wherein they sold victuals.
They were selling, buying, selling on the Sabbath. This day and time so easy to say, you go online and buy some online. And you just broke the Sabbath. Period. Wait until the Sabbath is over. Do it way before. This is what happened. Listen what God called this thing that they were doing. Go ahead.
16. There dwelt men of Tyre, also therein, which brought fish and all manner of ware, and sold on the Sabbath unto the children of Judah and in Jerusalem.
They bring all this stuff in to sell. Go ahead.
Then I contended with the nobles of Judah,
Let's see how God feel about that. How Nehemiah feel about that. And God, go ahead.
and said unto them, what evil thing is this that you do, and profane the Sabbath day?
So if you buying and selling, it's an evil thing, and you evil if you buying and selling on the Sabbath. Then what thus saith the Lord said, when I read this, I shook to my knees because I was working on the Sabbath. That was a horrible day of getting his money. I said, boy, I gotta change. Oh, and God said it's evil. I ain't cut no more hair on the Saturday. Go ahead, brother.
18. Did not your fathers thus, and did not our God bring all this evil upon us and upon this city? Yet ye bring more wrath upon Israel by profaning the Sabbath.
So you know why this world is being, all this evil going on in the world? They breaking the Sabbath.
Yes, sir.
And God can't bring no peace. He got to correct all these mistakes that they're doing, all these sins. That's why you see different people getting shot and killed and all this stuff around the world, because they're breaking this law. The Sabbath is just one part we're dealing with. You got a whole bunch of other laws you're dealing with too. So that's why it's chaos in the world today. Because they are breaking the Sabbath and breaking these laws. This is great evil. Is you out there buying and selling. I'm talking about on your phone, going to Amazon, clicking. Whatever site it is, clicking, buying. God see that. That's evil. Go ahead.
19. And it came to pass that when the gates of Jerusalem began to be dark before the Sabbath, I commanded that the gates should be shut and charged that they should not be open till after the Sabbath. And some of my servants set I at the gates, that there should no burden be brought in on the Sabbath day.
Nehemiah shot it down. He said, look, ain't nobody come up here buying and selling this thing. And then listen what Nehemiah said he's going to do to these cats if they do come in here. Go ahead.
Verse 20. So the merchants and sellers of all kinds of ware lodged without Jerusalem once or twice.
So they're outside of Jerusalem gate trying to get people to buy stuff. Go ahead.
Then I testified against them and said unto them, why lodge ye about the wall?
He said, why y'all out there outside the wall? Go ahead.
If you do so again, I will lay hands on you.
Nehemiah said, I'm going to put these motor tools on you, buddy. I'm going to put these hands on you.
There you go.
That old school motor tools, you know. Going to put these hands on you. Come out here and do this again. I'm going to send my troops to take you out. Go ahead.
If you do so again, I will lay hands on you. From that time forth came they no more on the Sabbath.
Yes, sir, because the man of God gave man of God power back then, and they were going to win. Go ahead.
And I commanded the Levites that they should cleanse themselves, and that they should come and keep the gates to sanctify the Sabbath day. Remember me, O my God, concerning this also, and spare me according to the greatness of thy mercy.
See, we want God's. Remember, you see how important this is? This is a sign that we are God's children,
Sir.
and we shut this thing down and honor the Sabbath. Now, I don't know what you got to do in your lifestyle or whatnot. That's between you and the Lord. I'm just here to tell you what you're supposed to do. Work it out. Because the first time I found out about the Sabbath, it took me about 2 months to get it right. And I still messing up, but as years passed down the line, we got better and better. You finished with that?
Yes, sir.
Let's go to Exodus chapter 35. We understand how to keep it, so we can have that sign on us.
Yes, sir. Amen.
A lot of folks don't want to know because they say, well, if I don't know it, God won't judge me about it. You're lying. Because he said this gospel going to be preached all over the world before he come out. Everybody going to know him.
That's right.
Exodus 35 and verse 1. Let me show you another thing we don't supposed to be doing on the Sabbath. Go ahead.
And Moses gathered all the congregation of the children of Israel together,
Yes, sir.
and said unto them,